Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like your life is, well, running on some kind of invisible software? I'm not talking about the OS on your phone or your laptop. I mean a deep internal operating system, the one that's actually running you. That's exactly what we're going to dive into.
So that brings up the big question, right? What kind of OS are you running? Is it something you've chosen, something that's stable, or does it feel like it's constantly getting hijacked by all the noise out there, always crashing right when you need it most? Because it turns out, there are really only two ways these internal systems of ours can run.
Okay, so check this out. On one hand, you've got what we'll call a polarity-driven OS. Just imagine your system running on pure impulse and reaction. You're just getting yanked back and forth by every notification, every opinion, every little desire. It gets hijacked so easily. But then, on the other side, you have the center-governed OS. And this is a total game changer. It operates from this place of deep inner stability. So instead of just reacting, it acts, on purpose, with clarity, all coming from a calm internal core.
All right, so let's dig into the problem first. Because if you were just nodding along thinking, yeah, that reactive system sounds a lot like me, trust me, you are not alone. The source material we're looking at actually calls this being infected with a polarity virus. And it's this incredibly common bug that causes our whole internal system to just glitch out and crash all the time.
Now, the core bug in this virus, the thing that makes it so nasty, is something called the mirror trap. This is what happens when we get stuck chasing our own reflection. I mean, think about it. Endlessly scrolling social media to build that perfect image, or chasing some job title for the status without ever stopping to ask, wait, is this even what I want? You're just chasing external signals without checking in with yourself. And you know where that leads? Sooner or later, a total system collapse.
And you can feel this loop in your day-to-day life. It's this frantic, endless cycle, isn't it? You start chasing the perfect image, right? That makes you chase the status you think that image is going to get you. And that makes you chase the data. You know, the likes, the followers, the promotions, just to prove you have that status. It's an absolutely exhausting hamster wheel that goes nowhere.
And this is really the heart of the matter. The quote says it all. When the center is forgotten, polarity becomes the governor. It's so simple, but so deep. When we lose that connection to our inner center, something else has to take the wheel. And that something else is polarity, that chaotic push and pull of the outside world. Look, if you don't govern yourself from the inside, the outside world will be more than happy to do it for you.
Okay, so that's the problem. The polarity virus. How do we get rid of it? How do we install a stable system? Well, this is where it gets really interesting. The solution offered in our source material is pretty mind-blowing. It takes the ancient figure of Ibrāhīm, you might know him as Abraham, and reframes him. He's not just a historical person anymore. He's presented as the actual template for a stable, center-governed operating system. So here's the core idea, the big claim. Ibrāhīm represents the human blueprint for how to run your life from that stable inner center. Instead of being thrown all over the place by chaos, he is what's called the backbone OS, the fundamental load-bearing structure that can support our entire system without ever crashing. And the core programming, the actual code of this backbone OS, is a protocol called Ḥanīf. Now this is so important. This is not some label you just stick on yourself. It's a running protocol. It's an active, ongoing process of constantly realigning with your center. It's the software in motion. So what does this protocol actually look like in action? Well, it breaks down into three really simple, elegant components. First, you've got the dot. This is your stable center. It's the origin point where a true command, a true intention lands. Second, there's the line. This is the channel that transmits that intention. And guess what it is? It's your breath. And finally, you have the driver. This is the ignition. It's the spark that takes the command from the dot, combines it with the energy of the line, and turns it into real-world action. And the main job of this whole system? It's so powerful because it's so simple. It is designed to do one thing and one thing only, to smash those false mirrors of the mirror trap and bring your entire being back to your stable, reliable center. You can literally think of it as the ultimate antivirus for that polarity virus we talked about.
Okay, so we have the components, dot, line, driver. But how does the system actually, boot up? It's not just random. There's a very precise ignition sequence, almost like the source code that gets this whole center-governed system up and running.
And you might be wondering where this sequence comes from. Well, the source material points to a very specific place, the opening verses of Surah 55 in the Quran.
And it asks us to read these verses in a new way, not just as poetry, but as a kind of coded technical manual for how a stable human system actually starts up.
All right, let's walk through this ignition chain step by step. First, you have the mercy field. This is like the atmosphere, the environment the OS needs to even exist. Second, a command gets installed into the line. Your breath receives its core instruction. Third, the human operator becomes active. The system goes from being inert to being alive. Fourth, beyond switches on, which means clear, conscious communication is now possible. And finally, timing. The whole thing gets locked into a coherent rhythm by, get this, a cosmic clock.
And this last step, the timing, is absolutely critical. Why? Because the system without a clock just drifts back into chaos. So how does it stay on track? Well, first, to stop a total system collapse, you need a stable container, which is represented by the sun. Then, to stop yourself from lying to yourself, you need a witness clock, represented by the moon, so you can actually verify your progress. And finally, to keep from drifting off course, you need a governor, what the source calls bihusban, or precise calculation. It's this amazing three-part lock: a stable container, an honest witness, and precise measurement.
Okay, I know that was a lot of theory, but here's the best part. All of this translates into an incredibly practical tool you can use right now. So let's completely shift gears and look at a simple 30-second protocol you can use to reboot your own system anytime you feel like getting hijacked.
This is it, the Ibrāhīm protocol. It's so simple. Step 1, hold. Just for a second, stop, return to your center. No ego, no audience, just you. Step 2, breathe. Feel the true command travel on your breath. Step 3, choose. Make the active choice to follow your centered intention over that knee-jerk impulse. 4, witness. Actually feel that shift and verify the outcome in your heart and in what you do next. And finally, step 5, seal. You just repeat this again and again until it becomes a stable, automatic habit.
And this final quote really just brings it all home, doesn't it? The system is designed, but it becomes alive only when command rides breath. And that command is received from the center, not from ego. It's all right there. The design is one thing, but making it live, that's about where the command comes from. The quiet, stable center, never the loud, needy ego.
And that, my friends, is the Ḥanīf OS. See, it's not a set of beliefs you just adopt. It's a living, breathing, dynamic system. And it's designed for one very specific purpose: to keep you out of that catastrophic mirror trap collapse, and to keep you operating from a place of real stability and clarity.
So I'll leave you with one final question to take with you, something to really chew on. Looking at your own life, your own habits, your own loops, what mirror, what specific chase for an image or for status or for data are you going to choose to break today?